So, I mean, different technopreneurs or people in the technology space have sort of shared the challenges that they're facing, like, for example, adapting to customer changes, right? And because a lot of things are changing like really fast, and the customer expectations are also changing, sort of keeping focus and then allocating budgets and time. It's a very rapidly changing space, right? So that's a big challenge. And then, onboarding these new technologies is also not easy. Like a company that has been using this, a particular technology for quite some time, and now there is a new technology. Can you quickly adopt that technology? It's not as easy as it sounds, right? So that's a challenge as well. And then you have challenges like automating security detection and response. So security is increasingly a challenge as we go more and more sort of tech, because these are, at the end of the day, these are man-made, and there will be threats, and there will be intrusions into these digital systems. But it's developing and improving rapidly. I mean, if you're using sort of Windows, for example, now, the threats are very, very low with the last, 3-4 years. There, a lot of the Windows systems don't even have a separate antivirus software. So it's changing, but the threats are also increasing. But then you have technologies like blockchain also coming up that will solve a lot of those threats. And then educating the employees about these new technologies and the cyber threats is also a challenge. Delivering better software at scale, budget constraints, always a challenge, even for a technopreneur or any entrepreneur, right? So there are a lot of these challenges. I mean, complacency, that, when, tech teams are not really adopting and learning new skills and the new technologies. They're complacent with the status quo. These are, there are some other challenges on this link. So I encourage you to sort of read this link. In fact, I can just copy this right now to you, but you'll get access to this slide deck anyway. Let me just send this to you on the chat. Here you go. So do a little research on the different challenges that a technopreneur would face in today's context. All right. And then do a little bit of research on the global information of the global technology industry. Now, this is an image that I got from IDC, which gives a snapshot of the information technology industry. So information technology is not the whole of industry, technology industry, but part of that, or like a big part of that, is information technology, because a lot of these technologies that we speak about, they have information technology sort of built into it. I mean, augmented reality, big data, even platforms like Uber and Airbnb, Facebook, Twitter, Google. It's at the end of the day, it's information. There's a lot of information analysis and then sort of presenting that information. So it's a $5.2 trillion industry as of 2020. Massive industry. Like 33% of that comes from North America, the revenue. And then you have like two other big players in Europe and in China, right? What this shows is that there's plenty of opportunity for us to go big on technopreneurship in this region, in South and Southeast Asia, right? As you can see, there's not much happening. I mean, there's space for us to increase revenue by creating technology products. Right now, what's happening is like we're sort of providing services to these big markets, But if we can create, if our economies, if we can sort of start creating products and services using technology, which these other markets can buy, or even the same market can buy, then that's going to be a huge opportunity. There was a downturn. So when in your assignment, you have to talk about the external challenges and the external environment and so on. So talk about what has happened in the 2019, 20, 21 market in terms of the corona crisis, right? Pandemic, what has happened. So you can do an analysis there. But at the same time, it has created opportunities for more technology-driven businesses, like Zoom, for example, online conferencing, online teaching, online education, online delivery. You know, it has opened up opportunities for technology as well. So some of the key characteristics of a technology entrepreneur is that, as we discussed, the technopreneur really sees the market need and understands that market need, and the entrepreneur has a passion, and we'll talk a little bit about the passion and, you know, how to sort of bounce back when you fail. And a technopreneur would sort of quickly put together a really good team, a solid team, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 people together to sort of make it happen. And you need to have a path to growth, a fast growth, right? Investors are looking for tech startups which can sort of grow like really fast, scale up really fast. You know, you need to have, and you also ideally need to have IP protection, in intellectual property protection. So you can register for a patent on your technology. You know, that will sort of give you a huge advantage in terms of scaling up, right? So do a little bit more research on some of the characteristics of a technopreneur or a tech business. Okay. Now, one of the biggest and the most celebrated technopreneurs, particularly in our region, is Jack Ma, right? The founder of Alibaba, and you know, he's a great example of sort of, you know, using technology. I mean, he's not a technology expert himself. He's not a technology expert himself, but, you know, he's an entrepreneur, but he used technology to create a really, really successful technology enterprise. And he said, your attitude is more important than your capabilities. And similarly, your decision is more important than your capabilities. You know, entrepreneurs are strong-willed people, and they make decisions, right? And they stick by that decision. They learn from their mistakes, and, you know, they change their decisions accordingly. So, you know, it's about doing it. It's about, you know, it's not about trying, it's about doing it, right? There's no try, they say. You either do it or you don't do it, right? There's no trying. And you know, to be an entrepreneur, age is not a barrier, right? You can find this image on internet, and there are all these people are entrepreneurs. You know, some of them are technology entrepreneurs and some are not. But the point is that, you know, you can become an entrepreneur at any age, right? Right after graduation, during your sort of, you know, 20s, 30s, early 30s, and in the sort of midlife 35, and your 40s, 50s. Whatever the age may be, there are always entrepreneurs who start, right? So age is not a barrier for you to start. And particularly for technopreneurs, it's, you know, as young as you may be. I mean, 19-year-olds are starting tech businesses. 17-year-olds are starting tech businesses. Sometimes even, you know, 13-year-olds, we sometimes hear, who have started some kind of a tech business, who have created an app or something, like some kind of a Lego product or something, right? So, so age is not a barrier for entrepreneurship, no, for technology